WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, is one of the most bizarre things to ever exist in the history of the world.
Look at this! Are you kidding me?
I told you.
Oh, there it is!
Oh, this is terrible.
Come on, Big E, you got this, man.
He's no.
And in 2002, WWE created WWE Studios, an extension to the WWE brand that would specialize in developing and producing feature films. Which seems like a good idea on paper. The WWE is a huge billion-dollar brand with a devoted fan base and has paid actors on staff. But it isn't that simple, because the movies they made are dog shit. So I selected a handful of these awful movies, and we're gonna watch a few of them today. The first movie we are watching today is The Marine from 2006, starring John Cena. This is the first of a saga of Marine movies. There's The Marine 2, The Marine 3 Homefront, The Marine 4 Moving Target, The Marine 5 Battleground, and The Marine 6 Close Quarters. Without question, one of the greatest movie franchises of all time. The Marine is about a Marine that gets his wife abducted by jewel thieves and his mission to save her. And it's fucking horrible. This movie lacks any type of consistency whatsoever. At some points it's an action film, in others it's a super uncomfortable comedy.
I'm gonna be totally honest here. I thought that you and I, we could have had a future, if it wasn't for...
Our main character is John Triton, which is like the whitest name you could ever pick for a character, played by John Cena, and is pretty much unstoppable. This man escapes not one, not two, but 3 exploding buildings. They also can't stop mentioning how he's a Marine.
She married a Marine.
You married a Marine, Kate. Colonel. I'm a Marine.
So the movie starts out in Iraq, at an Al-Qaeda compound 100 miles outside of Tikrit. Cool. And we quickly learn that John Cena is the kind of guy that takes matters into his own hands.
Scout team is on its way.
No time.
We are then treated to a terrible action scene. Why are you yelling? All the fighting and action scenes are like this. They are all so over-edited that it makes this shit incomprehensible. Also, our main character is like a vicious killer. Like, he doesn't even try to avoid killing. He goes out of his way to kill people.
How do we get around him?
We don't. We go through them.
Like, he savagely murders the bad guys in this movie. Like, he fucking choke slams this dude, grabs this bitch and throws her out of a car in front of a bus, then burns this dude alive, then breaks his neck with chains. My man gives no fucks. You can also tell that this movie's really trying to pad out the length. This is how we meet the antagonist.
Be right back.
You got it, man.
What?
You got it, man. Scarface. Come on.
Do it again.
Okay. You got it, man.
Oh my god, what are you even talking about? Get out of the car! They also gave this random henchman, Morgan, a long-ass scene where he's supposed to be picking up a getaway car or some shit, and explains that he's black and that he can't drive minivans because he's black. So he decides to steal a different car and then turn and look at the camera. Oh my god, he's black. He can't drive minivans. Black people can't drive minivans. They steal cars, I guess. Morgan also gets a bunch of unnecessary character development. Like, he talks about his childhood trauma, and he talks about how he got, like, fucked in the ass with, like, some rock candy or some shit by a camp counselor.
Then he offered me something that I never should have accepted.
Like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? Then he dies a minute later after John Cena dives through a fucking wall. There's this detective character named I don't remember his fucking name. But he's this detective playing the role of the outside force of the law. He's trying to catch the jewel thieves after they robbed a fucking K Jewelers and then blew up a cop car with an RPG. And he really has no purpose. He's a meaningless character who doesn't affect the plot in any way. He's so incredibly unimportant that it turns out he's a bad guy that double crosses John Cena at this hut in a swamp that's also a diner, and that's the twist of the movie. Cool. And it's so bad, it makes no sense, and it's unimportant.
Give me my damn diamonds!
No.
And John's not having any of it, he's so pissed. Then he uses him as a meat shield, and then that's the end of his story. Men in this movie also stare at every woman's ass. Like, what the fuck was that? Why are you putting this in the movie? Nobody says anything or reacts to this. They just continue with the story like you're disgusting ass didn't just look at that girl's ass. The acting in this movie is obviously not the greatest. The dialogue is just so awkward and unnatural.
Nice butt.
What?
I'm glad though that John Cena has graduated from these terrible action films. He's definitely become a better actor in recent years, and is even going to star in the new Suicide Squad movie, The Suicide Squad. But as for this movie, everything is pretty terrible and it's not very fun to watch. 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
The next film we are watching is from 2014 and is called Leprechaun Origins, which is not an origin film, and I wouldn't even call the monster a leprechaun. It looks like an orc from Lord of the Rings. Apparently this movie is supposed to be a reboot to the 1990s Leprechaun movie franchise, which I have never seen, nor do I want to after looking at the movie posters online. Leprechaun in space, Leprechaun in the hood, Leprechaun back to the hood. Leprechaun Origins is about a group of friends that is visiting this village in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in Ireland. And in this village they meet this old guy named Hamish. Hamish says there's this cool cave and everyone should see it, and they look at each other and take a vote and say okay, and then Hamish locks them inside this house for them to be eaten by a leprechaun. And it's boring as shit.
I'm not sure I'm gonna enroll in Berkeley for my master's.
What?
Yeah, I mean, with Ben going to Harvard and everything, I thought maybe I'd just check out the East Coast for a while.
Oh my god, who the hell cares? The cinematography is like non-existent.
Hey.
This shit makes me want to go to sleep. The movie starts out with our characters arriving outside the village in this field, and the guy who drove them there refuses to drive them to the actual village.
No, I can't do that.
While they're walking through the field to the village, they see this dude with a gun just staring at them, and they just kind of shrug it off. Yeah, nothing to worry about there. The movie really gets going when the leprechaun tries to kill our characters, and we find out that the leprechaun has like heat vision or something, but they make it a point that he really only wants gold, but the leprechaun for some reason also wants to kill people. They even try and explain it's because these people were stealing the leprechaun's gold and now the debt has to be paid or something. I don't know, man. This whole shit is so boring and lame.
Leprechaun.
Our characters escape from the house and run through the forest, and then they run across this old lady driving who's packing like 40 beers. Like, shit, girl, where you going? Obviously, the old lady double crosses them, and then she gives them to Hamish, where he ties them up around trees to leave them to die. One of our characters is able to get loose, but only after getting wounded by the leprechaun. He then manages to save his friends, but then gets taken down by the leprechaun when they try to run away. And instead of helping the guy that saved the entire group, they just fucking leave him to get eaten by the leprechaun. And then literally like moments later, our group decides that they want to kill the leprechaun.
Because we're gonna kill it.
You guys just left your friend to die and now you decide we should try and fight? This is a common theme in the movie as well. Members of our group just leave each other behind, and it barely changes anything in the story. This is this guy's reaction after being left to die by his friends.
Sit down.
No words. Just some light shoving. I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty freaking mad. The best scene in the movie is when they try and set a trap for the leprechaun. Now I'm gonna try and explain real quick what their plan is. So the house they got locked up in from the beginning has a secret door in the chimney. So they decide to hang some gold chains around the fireplace to lure the leprechaun in. So they need someone on the outside to close the secret door and trap him in the chimney so the other two can kill it. And this might be one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen.
He's coming!
Okay, so I'm gonna break down what just happened. The leprechaun showed up to the secret door, opened it, hid behind it, waited for the girl under the house to come out, then grab her and Uno card reverse her ass through the chimney so she would die. This means that the leprechaun somehow knew the girl was under the house and that there was a trap waiting for him and had the foresight to hide behind the door and wait for the girl to come out of hiding so that he could grab her and slip and slide her to death. The directing is also super annoying. For some reason, they added these little lens reflection thingies as if we are seeing through the eyes of the leprechaun, but we can see him in the shot. He's right there. I can see him right there. This is just pissing me off. Why is this on the screen? Now, before we go any further, I want to talk about the appeal of WWE movies, and that there isn't any. And WWE Studios knows this, because most of their films are awful and poorly made. So they need a hook, something to grab people's attention. And they do this by having a WWE superstar star in almost every film they make. It's supposed to make the fans go, "Hey look, it's John Cena. Hey look, it's Triple H. Hey look, it's Edge." And you're supposed to do that for the entire movie so you don't get bored. So for Leprechaun Origins, they chose WWE superstar Hornswoggle, whose claim to fame is being Vince McMahon's illegitimate son. However, this man isn't even in the movie. Apparently this is him under this prosthetic, but we don't even get a good look at the leprechaun. Never a single full body shot. So why would any WWE fan ever watch this when you don't even get to see Hornswoggle in the entire movie?
People are going to go into this thinking it's going to be that movie or one of those movies, and they're going to walk out going, what was the name of that other guy that played the leprechaun?
Wow.
And again, that sounds horrible to say, and I get some heat for that, but it's true. Trying to shoot TV here.
Wow. Yeah, what was your reaction like seeing the film for the first time? I mean, did it turn out exactly how you thought it would?
No.
Really?
Better.
Okay.
So much better. I'm very happy with it. I am going on record and saying this film will break WWE DVD sale records.
2 out of 10.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
What's next? Inside Out. Inside Out? Inside Out is a fantastic animated film that gives us a brand new perspective. Wait, I got that wrong. The movie is Inside Out, but it's starring Triple H.
Well, in the court, they call it manslaughter. It means that I didn't mean to kill the guy, just caused it to happen, you know?
Inside Out might be one of the worst things I've ever watched, and I've watched The Crimes of Grindelwald, and I've watched The Kissing Booth too. But Inside Out is truly horrible. So Inside Out is about a recently released convict, AJ, played by Triple H, who wants to get clean and start his life over by making fucking pickles. But he gets wrapped back into the life of crime by his dumbass friend Jack, played by Michael Rappaport, whose thick New York accent pretty much makes it impossible to follow any sort of clean line of thought.
Not the rights, not the wrongs, not mortality, facts. And if it wasn't for this man, I wouldn't be here in this moment in time. I'm a member of the undead because of him, you follow?
So the movie starts out with Triple H getting released from prison. They drop him off at this park on the side of a road. Is this how prisoners are released in real life? Where the fuck are we? You soon realize that this movie is edited by a moron. Cut to police station. No words, no dialogue. Cut back to Jack and AJ talking about something. Jack is with his wife or sister or girlfriend or some shit. But we don't find that out for about another 15 minutes. Then we cut to a wide shot of the whole car that they're driving. And then we cut inside again to find that Jack has somehow managed to get into the back seat and is just rambling on about nothing.
Why am I the way I am? Why is your mother the way she is? Bye, idiot.
We are like 5 minutes into the movie and I am completely lost. Where the fuck are they eating? The local landfill? Inside Out also just has a bunch of random shit in it as well. Like Triple H gets out of the car, looks at someone else's car, and then the owner of the car freaks out at him for looking at it, and then that's it. Like, why are you yelling at Triple H, lady? But seriously though, bro, what are you even looking at? So Jack is the son of a crime boss whose front is a vet's office, which is a weird business to hold your drug operations at. Listen to how Jack's father greets Triple H.
I'd offer you a drink, but it would just remind me every time I took one up your blood.
What does that even mean? Is that some kind of like prison anal joke? Triple H throughout the movie just feels like he doesn't want to be there. He just doesn't seem to be enjoying any of this. So the plot of this movie is nonsense. It's baloney. It's phooey. Plots of movies are broken down into 3 acts. Now, not every movie has to have 3 acts, but every movie does have a beginning, middle, and an end. And for the story to transition from Act 1 to Act 2, something needs to happen. There needs to be something called the inciting incident, which is the moment when our character is forced to be in the story. And this isn't every film. It's usually when something actually happens. However, in this dogshit film, this is the inciting incident. So Jack and AJ are at this bar where they are meeting with a supplier of their drugs or some shit, and the whole point of this meeting is for this guy to give Jack a briefcase full of money. And so for some fucking reason, Jack really wants AJ to say hi to him.
AJ, can you please sit down? Please, just say hello to this guy. Come on, can't you just sit down with the guy, please? I mean, look at him. Don't you want to say hello to him?
What are you even saying? I can't even understand you, man. So Jack tells this story about how he stole AJ's lunch money as kids, and then they became friends, and it just makes no goddamn sense.
And for some reason, he just handed it over to me like he was hypnotized or something, which worked out good for me, except for 10 seconds later, this 4th grader named Piggy Sanchez walks up to me, punches me in the face, and takes the money right back.
Then Jack asks for a bottle of liquor and pulls out a gun, takes a swig of the bottle, and chokes, and then accidentally shoots this man.
I didn't mean for that to happen. I swear I didn't. AJ, that wasn't supposed to happen. Why did that happen to me? That wasn't supposed to happen, Sylvester. Why did that happen?
I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore, and we are only 25 minutes into the damn movie. The real sin of this movie is that there is absolutely no action. I think maybe 3 total gunshots are fired, and besides that, the rest of the movie is just talking. I at least wanted to see a shootout or something, but instead every time someone shoots a gun, it's shot where you can't even see someone getting hit. It's either out of frame or it's not even in the shot itself. This sucks. I wanted to see some people getting fucked up. When the poster of your movie looks like this, with Triple H holding a gun and Michael Rappaport looking disgusted as ever, I expect some action. The movie ends with Jack killing himself, then Triple H banging his wife. Then his wife shoots Triple H because she thinks that Triple H killed Jack. But then Triple H drives himself to this cabin where Jack shot himself. And she rushes out to greet him because she read Jack's suicide note.
Dear Claire, I need you to know that AJ had nothing to do with any of this.
And so now it's all fine. But this is an action movie, right? So they throw in this girl who's like an assassin or some shit for Jack's dad's crime business, and she shows up to the cabin, somehow plants it with explosives, and then blows it up. And instead of just shooting or killing Triple H right away, she just hits him with a wood log, and then she gets shot by a kid and dies. There is so much more wrong with this movie. It's uncreative, it's stupid, and worst of all, it's boring. 1 out of 10 or less.
Carlo, get the blinds.
walk away, all right?
So far, we've only been watching bad movies. And you're probably wondering, is that all WWE makes? Is bad movies? And for the most part, yes, that's all they make, is bad movies. But in 2019, they actually made a pretty good movie called Fighting With My Family. And this is the first sign of life for WWE Studios. While generic in execution, the script is solid and feels unique with the plot revolving around pro wrestling. They also got good, well-known actors to be in this movie. Lena Headey and Nick Frost are both really good. Vince Vaughn is also in this movie, who just plays himself, but he does that in every movie. But Fighting With My Family avoids the trap of any movie about wrestling, and that's cringe. The whole concept of pro wrestling in itself is insane. The idea that an activity exists in which two or more wrestlers fight a predetermined match where none of the punches land, the wrestlers fake talk shit about each other every other week, and everyone in the arena and around the world knows this, yet they act like they don't. And yet people love it. It's mind-boggling. And I get it. I used to unironically tell my friends in high school that I wanted to be a pro wrestler. Then I found out I wasn't getting past 5'9" and went to college like an adult. Fighting With My Family seemed like a big step for WWE Studios, and perhaps a direction towards generating more respect for them. But in 2020, they made a shitty kids wrestling movie and put it on Netflix. The main event is about this kid finding a magical mask and basically giving him superpowers, in which he uses it to try and gain a WWE contract and win $50,000. It's a mess of a movie. The dialogue is just horrendous. It's so hard to hear.
If you really want to be the next NXT superstar, you know someday you'll have to get past this. So why don't you do it now? Right now. Look down, Samson. I dare you.
Oh my god, no wonder you get bullied at school, kid. The problem with WWE is that they treat these movies as products, not art. And it makes sense for WWE to do so. Back in 2002, when WWE Studios was formed, I can guarantee you that it was made with the intention of being a venture. Vince McMahon doesn't have some deep passion for great film. He wanted to make money. But what WWE and other companies like this don't understand is that if you're going to make money, you need a compelling product. You need talented people working on the film. And that's exactly what they had when they made Fighting With My Family. And instead of continuing to create more original and engaging products, they make shit like The Main Event or Leprechaun Origins that don't deserve anyone's money. I still love WWE, it'll always hold a special place in my heart, but I don't want to watch any more of their trash movies.